Good morning, Northern New Mexico. You're listening to Live at Northern, your community radio show from Northern New Mexico College. I'm your host, Stephanie Montoya, and whether you're just tuning in or are a returning listener, we just wanted to let our listeners know our program is on every alternating Wednesday from 9:05 to 9:50 a.m. This is our time to share what's new at Northern, celebrate our students, faculty, and staff, and help the community get to know your local college. I hope everyone had a good couple of weeks since our last show. I know we got hit with quite a bit of snow. Some of it's still on the ground and up in the mountains, which is great for you ski enthusiasts out there. I just enjoy looking at it up on those mountains from right down here in the valley. A really nice view from our campus if you haven't seen it. And we wanted to extend a big thank you to our community for turning out for our first community-wide Martin Luther King Jr. celebration at Northern last Monday. More than 150 people joined us for our community breakfast, which featured remarks from special guests, entertainment by Moving Arts Española, and community information and services from our many exhibitors. Thank you again to the event coordinators, Miss Willie Williams, Dr. Patricia Trujillo, and to all of our sponsors and partners for making the event a great success. You can view photos from the event on our Facebook page. And we were also happy to welcome our students back to campus for another semester at Northern. We had our new student orientation just this past week, and we had several students come to campus for activities and a tour. That's always, really great to see the campus come back to life after the holiday break. So both to our returning students and our new students, we wish you a happy and successful spring semester. Well, today our show is all about student opportunities. We'll be sharing information about how students can prepare themselves and learn more about summer internships at Los Alamos National Labs, and share information about opportunities from our Department of Language and Letters. Finally, toward the end of the show, we will have a couple of Northern prizes to give away to callers, so stay tuned. But first, we have some athletics updates for our listeners. Joining me this morning is Eagles head coach Ryan Cordova. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Stephanie. Glad to be back.
I know you have all been on the road extensively for the past several months, so we've been keeping our listeners updated about your away games, but it's great to finally have you back in the studio. It's been a while.
It seems like we live in that bus or in those vans sometimes, man. We're on the road all the time.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, just to give our listeners a sense of what goes on behind the scenes, what is going on the road like for the Eagles all that time on the bus?
I wish I could say it's really, really nice and we get to see all these places and stay in really nice hotels and eat really well. But to be honest with you, it's usually McDonald's. I'm usually driving the bus. So the trip to South Carolina was a long one. It was 28 hours.
Wow.
So when you're the only driver and you got to go 28 hours, it's not fun because you usually have a couple of 15-hour days in there. And so those are long. They're long for the students as well. But we usually try and get out, and every time we stop and either get gas or we stop to eat, I have them either run around the restaurant or try and get some blood flowing in their bodies. And so we even took a basketball last time. We did a little drill in the parking lot of one restaurant while we waited for food. So, I wish I could say we were flying somewhere and we got off the plane and we were able to play, but that's not going to happen.
Well, it goes with the territory, but
Sure.
You guys still show up on the court and compete and bring your A game. But I know you all went up against some really tough opponents, both in-state and out-of-state, over the past couple of months. There were some close games. Can you give us a recap?
Man, so I'll tell you, it was really exciting, and I know the last home game before this last weekend, everybody got here's the thing. For those people that know that we got into, the word was, they got in this fight and all that stuff at Northern. Well, it was kind of a promotional thing, I think. There's a lot of UFC fans in Northern New Mexico, and there's a lot of basketball fans. So we thought if we could join the two, we could maybe get more fans in the stands. And unfortunately, it didn't work. But we had an unfortunate situation where some of our kids were kicked off our team and or suspended for the year, and some others were suspended for 5 games. So we went through kind of a rough patch there for a little while. But I've got other people back, and I've got a couple of those kids back. And so on the road, it was tough. We were kind of finding our new team and finding ourselves again. And so kids that hadn't been playing very much, getting a minute or two, were now having to play 25 or 30 minutes. And so when they're kind of thrown in the fire like that, it's tough for those young kids, especially freshmen. During one game we had 8 players and 6 of them were true freshmen. So that's not easy when you're taking a 18-year-old kid and you're playing him against a 23-year-old at New Mexico State. It's not real pretty. But we had a couple close ones. We lost on a buzzer beater at Haskell. We lost on a buzzer beater at Morris in South Carolina after 2 long road trips. Haskell is in Lawrence, Kansas, which is about 15 hours from here. So, I think the road really gets to you at some point where you're losing close games. And, now I think we found ourselves. We went to Arizona last week to Phoenix and beat a really good Park University team. And that was 2 good wins on the road. The young kids are kind of finding their niche, and we're able to hit shots. I've had great play from a kid that I broke his red shirt. His name is Damian Thomas from Las Cruces. He went to Oñate High School. And Damian came off the bench, and he had 24 in South Carolina. He had 14 against the Aggies. He had 18 this weekend. He's a fun kid to watch, and he's going to be a big part of this program as it continues to grow.
Well, I really have to commend you guys for, just kind of how you've handled some of this, some of these challenges that, you've been facing. And I do know that, after that incident with Haskell, you all kind of, met with coaches.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of reconciled that,
yeah,
and then
definitely. And I think that's the bad part about sports today. I'll tell you is that from a professional standpoint, I mean, this is what I do for a living, and one of the worst things that one of the worst things that I don't even like my kids watch it is like Sports Center. I know it's fun and I know it's all those things, but you see a lot of arrogance, you see a lot of entitlement, you see a lot of players talking back to officials and talking to each other and doing those kind of things. And there's not really any room in sports for that stuff. I mean, back when I was growing up, I mean, sportsmanship was something big, something that people taught. And today's coaches, I don't know if they really teach good sportsmanship anymore. It's all about winning. It's all about, and it's not that. I mean, in life, you've got to be able to get along with your opponent. You've got to be able to find some kind of common ground. It's great to compete with the next person, but at the same time, you don't have to argue with them. I mean, it's like a marriage. You're not going to agree on everything, but you got to be able to get along, and you got to be able to think about the other person sometimes.
Absolutely, and I know that our president, Dr. Bailey, did fly out to Haskell to stand alongside their president, and just kind of support you guys as you continue your season.
Yeah, and I think part of that, I mean, Coach Downing, who's the coach at Haskell, is a good friend of mine. And I have a lot of respect for him and his program. And he has a lot of respect for us and our program. And so, it was nice for Dr. Bailey to go out there and meet with their president and stuff. We never really got to talk to him. I talked to him briefly while he was there. But Coach Downing and myself, we had meetings. We had a group meeting before our game that day, and we talked to him about what was going to be acceptable and what was not going to be acceptable. And talked to them about, this is a game of basketball. There's no room in it for fighting, and there's no room in it for any of that kind of stuff. And if there was going to be even any trash talking, not even nothing.
Right.
And we both held true to our word. And with the group of kids that I had and the group of kids that he had, I think I didn't think there was going to be any problems anyways. And he was certain there wasn't be any problems. I mean, it was just in the heat of the moment. It was a bad situation here at Northern, but it wasn't something that was malicious on either part. It got out of hand, and that's what it was. And so Dr. Bailey and the president from Haskell, they met up, and we all shook hands at half court before the game, and it was a nice sense of unity. But I'll tell you the one thing, Stephanie. One of my players came to me after this whole incident happened, and he says, "Coach, did you realize that of the people that got in the fight, there was 6 kids that were suspended? Of the kids that did that, did you know all 6 of us were raised without a father?" And I said, "Really?" And I started looking at the kids that were involved, and it took them bringing that to our attention. He said, "Coach, I've had to fight for everything I've had growing up, fight for my mom, fight for my siblings, that kind of thing." And he says, "I just think it's ironic that the 6 people that really got in a fist fight were the 6 kids that were raised without a father." So dads out there, you play a bigger part in a kid's life than you might think. While they need the nurturing of their mother, they need to be taught by their father as well. And I think that we all have, if you're going to take on that responsibility of being a parent, then you need to do it and do it in a mature fashion.
Well, definitely a learning opportunity comes from all of this, and it definitely helps that you have some strong relationships with other, professionals and coaches in your field, and instilling these skills in your players. And, bringing it back to today, the Eagles are on a roll, and you all just claimed your 4th win in a row after defeating Sagu American Indian College this past weekend, 111-68. That's got to feel good, right?
Yeah, 2 good wins, Friday and Saturday, both over like 50 points, I think, right around 50-point margin wins. And, last week at Park University in Phoenix. So we get Park here in 2 weeks. But, yeah, that feels good to be on the winning side of it, to see these kids playing so well and playing for each other, and kids that are sharing the basketball. We added a new offense. We've changed our defense a little bit. So we're really fun to watch. It's not stagnant basketball where the ball's in one person's hand. This ball is really moving. And the stats can attest to that. We had a lot of kids in double figures, had a lot of kids with a lot of minutes, each averaging somewhere around 20. And we got some really good play from everybody, and it's fun to watch.
I also heard that you had 5 players in double digits. Esteban Martinez had 19 points. Victor Faria and Ricardo Zambrano had 12 points. Jeremy Anaya chipped in 11 points and 5 assists. Naquan Solomon had 10 points. So you've really got some stars out there.
Yeah, and that's not to mention like Bruno had 9. Bruno Gedges had 9 points in that one. There was a few other kids that were right at the 9 or 8 point mark. JP, Jared Perez, had a really good game as well. So these kids are, that's what I mean about sharing the ball. Everybody's sharing the ball, so then it makes us hard to guard.
Right, and everyone gets a chance to shine, and I think that's really great. And of course, we can't forget about our Lady Eagles. They have also been on the road, maybe even more so, and have brought some wins as well. Can you give us a recap about what they've been up to?
Yeah, they had a good couple wins against Cody College. 2 good wins against Cody College, and then they were at Park this weekend, and they split with Park on the road, which is a very tough place to play. And they're young too. The thing to remember is, of our 13, I think 8 of them are freshmen on the men, and on the women's side of their 13, I think like 8 or 9 are freshmen on his side too. So while it's a young team and we're playing teams close, this happened a few years ago when I had Rodney Coles from Espanola. We went 0-30 one year. The men did. We went 0-30, and the next year we were in the national tournament, because eventually those freshmen become sophomores and juniors and seniors, and as they mature and they've got it down, then you start to see that growth in your team overall.
And the first year of college is, challenging no matter what. So, to add this on top of it. But even so, I know that several of your players have also been named as Dean's List.
Yeah, let's talk about that one. So how about that? So of the 13 on our team, 5 of those kids were named to the Dean's List. So you have to have over a 3.5, carry, I think it's over 12 credit hours that are graded. So you can't get credit for a non-credit or credit class. It has to be credits towards your degree. But we also had, what it didn't say there, was Jared Perez also had a 4.24. He wasn't on the Dean's List because he had one English class that was a credit, no credit class.
But still, to have that, with all the time on the road, with all the practices, with all the demands that are on these students, not to mention life outside of school and sports.
You think about that. Jared Perez, 4.24. David Halupka was 4.16. Victor Faria, 4.14. When these kids are all pulling way over a 4.0 and they're all competing for it, that's what I like to see. Is I want to see the competition in the classroom as well. And so that reflected really well on us. For those guys that make the Dean's List and do that kind of stuff, that's more of the program that we teach, and that's more of the program of who we are at Northern New Mexico College. And our women are doing very well in the classroom as well, and on the court. So really pleased with Coach Catano, Coach Lackey. They're doing a great job with their kids. It's just a good time to be part of Northern New Mexico College athletics.
And I know they're recruiting left and right as well. So
we are.
Got some new
Mario's signing
faces.
The girls are signing. Today's National Signing Day for kids. So he's signing a girl from Manzano today, who is one of the top kids in the state. He's going over to sign her. The unfortunate thing, though, is that Manzano has to come to Santa Fe and play against my daughter tonight. So I'm going to watch him in action. I told my daughter, I said, you better shut her down. Macy's a freshman at Santa Fe High, and she's been playing varsity. So I'm really proud of Macy and what she's doing. She's had to play some really good kids. So I told Mario's already made a verbal offer to my daughter, Macy. So I said, you need to go up to the Manzano girl and tell her, hey, I got an offer from Northern too. We'll be playing together maybe, hopefully sometime.
There you go. It's the place to be.
It's the place to be. It is the place to be.
So what's next for the Eagles? When's the next game? Who are you playing, and how are you feeling about it?
Next game, both teams. So next game, we'll be playing Park University, and that'll be February 7th and 8th. That'll be here at Northern New Mexico College. So we play at 7. The ladies will be playing at 5 o'clock. And so come out and check those out. On Saturday, though, games are 1 and 3. So Friday night we try and go late, and then Saturday we try and go early so that the teams can get back home carefully. So, those 2 games against Park will be good for both of us. If we can win our side, I know on the men's side, if we can win our side, it may give us a chance to get into the conference tournament. I think if we can get in the conference tournament, we're playing really good right now, and this is a time you want to be playing well. I think we might have a chance if we can get in there, and that'll be in Lincoln, Illinois. So we'll know a couple weeks, in a few weeks, if we can make it.
So I guess it's not enough just to beat them on their home turf. You got to invite them over so you can beat them again on our home turf.
That's right. And the crazy thing is it's really hard where we're at to try and get NAIA games. There's not any NAIA schools. The closest one is University of Southwest in Hobbs, and then the next closest one is in Gilbert, 7 hours away. So most of the schools are on the East Coast or the West Coast, so we're kind of stuck in the middle. It's hard to get games. So sometimes we schedule some of those teams with back-to-backs, or we've got to play them 3 or 4 times just so that we can get games in.
That's pretty intense, but, it's really great, to watch. And
yeah, and it's affordable.
Exactly.
Affordable entertainment.
There you have it, listeners. Come out and support the Eagles next Friday, February 7th. The Lady Eagles play at 5 p.m. The men play at 7 p.m. against Park University. And Saturday, February 8th, ladies play at 1 p.m., men play at 3 p.m. All 4 of those games are against Park University Gilbert out of Arizona, and all of them will take place here at home in the Eagle Gym. Tickets are $6 for adults and $3 for kids and senior citizens. All proceeds go towards supporting athletics and our students at Northern. Thank you for joining me this morning, and good luck.
I missed the radio, and thank you, Stephanie, for having us on here. And I can't get off without saying thank you to some of our sponsors. Body Armor, which is part of Coca-Cola product. Body Armor just paid for half of our chairs. We just bought some new Northern chairs. We've been wanting them for 10 years, just game chairs, because we've been using fold-out chairs. So we got some sponsored by Body Armor. So a big-time thank you to all the people at Coca-Cola, all the people at Body Armor for helping sponsor that. And then our local sponsors, R&M Construction, Parasol, Paragua, Zia Credit Union, Century Bank, big time. Tomas, thank you over there. Just want to say thank you to some of those big time sponsors that really come through for us every year.
And the folks here at KVSA also for coming out and broadcasting our games.
Yeah, they broadcast our games. So thank you to Rich, Rudy, that crew for coming out and supporting us in that fashion, because they've always been big time supporters of Northern New Mexico College athletics and just all the kids in Northern New Mexico as a whole. So thank you to KVSA Radio and all they do for us as well.
Well, thanks so much, Coach Ryan. We wish all of our Northern student athletes and athletics staff the best of luck as they compete during these next couple of weeks.
Thank you very much.
Well, as you may know, many of Northern's graduates have found work in Los Alamos at the labs. But did you know that there are also opportunities for students to work at Lannell while still pursuing their degree? Joining me to share more information this morning is Northern recruiter and de facto career services coordinator, international student liaison, and staff member extraordinaire, Sarah McCormick. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for that introduction, Stephanie.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I know you wear a lot of hats at the college, officially and unofficially. Before we get into this, can you tell us, our listeners, about yourself and what you do at Northern?
Sure. So officially, I'm the Assistant Director of Recruitment and Outreach at Northern New Mexico College. And that basically means that I travel regionally and I work with high school students and counselors. I attend college fairs. Also at the college, I facilitate job fairs and open houses. Right now, spring semester, we're focused on our transfer fair. So that means that I work with UNM Los Alamos, UNM Taos, and Santa Fe Community College, those students specifically that are about to graduate with their associate degrees and looking to get their bachelor's degrees. Let's see, what else do? I work as a designated school official. So this is certified through Department of Homeland Security, just a fancy way of saying that I help process the non-immigrant visas for our international students. Ryan mentioned some of those. Victor, Bruno, they're specifically from Brazil. But we have about 10 international students on our campus. The majority are in athletics, and they really add diversity to our campus. I also assist them with what's called CPT and OPT, again, another fancy way of helping them maintain and apply to work after they graduate. So international students can work up to a year after graduation, as long as it's in the field that they studied. So a lot of our international students are business students or STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, so they can stay on for a year and work. Let's see. I also help facilitate the campus tours on our beautiful campus, and I am also the advisor of the Northern New Mexico College Travel Club, which you are a member, Stephanie.
Yes,
of course.
Travel Club's awesome.
Exactly. And in 3 months, I'm so excited. We will be taking our first international trip at Northern and going to Costa Rica on an ecological trip, and we have a group of 12 that is made up of students, staff, faculty, and community members. So super excited to be doing that. I think I got most of what I do there.
Yeah, and when that trip's all said and done, we should bring some of those students on the air to share their experience. Kind of what it was like to go out in Costa Rica. But you're on the road all the time, just like the coach and the players. So that's definitely a lot of work to do what you do. But one of the things that you do is to help facilitate career connections for students. And today I understand you're here to share some information with our listeners about student opportunities at Los Alamos National Labs. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so this is really our internship pipeline, and we've been running it for about 3 years now. We started in 2017, and out of that, we have had 40 students successfully intern at LANL. And there's been a number, 10 to 15, that have actually turned into permanent hires. So I'll talk more specifically about the areas that we look for. But the particular workshops that we're talking about will be taking place on February 5th, 1 to 3 p.m. in the Northern New Mexico College boardroom, and February 6th, 2 to 4 p.m., and 5 to 7 p.m. And these are cover letter and resume writing workshops. LANL has a specific format that they like students to use. This is also the opportunity for interested students to meet with hiring managers who will be coming down with the job descriptions and open positions. And we're excited. We started this with the last cohort, but we'll be implementing it again because it had such great success. But we have also students who've already gone successfully through the internship pipeline and been hired. So a student panel, essentially. And so prospective students can meet and talk with them. And then also in the fold is the Writing Center. We're working with them this go around so that they can also assist in that resume and cover letter writing with our students. So yeah, the timeline really for all of this is that students, of course, will attend these mandatory workshops that are interested, and then essentially submit at the end of February, apply in March, and then interview in May, and start their paid internships in June. We try to stick to the timeline, but we have to have flexibility there. But yeah, we've seen this work. We're really excited for our students to have these great opportunities, and this is really foot in the door with Los Alamos National Laboratory for our students.
So let's say I'm a student who might be interested in interning at the labs. Do I have to be majoring in a science STEM field to qualify, or what kind of jobs are available?
That's a great question. So, of course, our hiring managers will come down with specific job descriptions to really elaborate on what is open for student interns. But in the past, and this go around as well, hiring managers are looking for techs, engineering students, specifically IT, electromechanical engineering, also looking for business students, project controls, administrative assistants, accountants, procurement. We've had students that successfully work up there in environmental science. So really across the gamut, a lot of different fields, not just science, technology, engineering, and math.
And are these paid internships?
They are paid internships, yes. And to qualify, students need to have a 3.0 GPA and clear a background check, and also be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident.
And I know it's really, great that you're providing in coordination with LANL these workshops to really support the students in preparing their resume, preparing their cover letter, really knowing what working at the labs is all about. And so, really giving them, as you said, that foot in the door. But I know that these workshops have been going on for a couple of semesters. And when and how did this partnership begin?
So we owe a debt of gratitude. His name is Toby Vigil. And he really has been the liaison. He works at Los Alamos National Laboratory, and he was really instrumental in facilitating a meeting with these hiring managers in 2017 to come to Northern, meet with Dr. Bailey, Dr. Lopez, myself, and some faculty to discuss these internships, because LANL really wants to be hiring here in New Mexico. We know that they're interested in retention. They want to be hiring here because typically our students have families here, will stay here. So it really is a win-win. And we at Northern have really been wanting to expand on our career pathways and career services for our students. So it started in 2017. And since then, as I mentioned, we've successfully hired about 35 to 40 students as paid interns in the various fields that I talked about. And a number of those have also turned into permanent hires. So we have a lot of great momentum. We know that it's effective. We know that it works. We couldn't have done this without Toby, who introduced us essentially to the hiring managers. And now we hope to continue the torch moving forward to provide these opportunities to all our students at Northern New Mexico College.
So who should students contact if they want to learn more?
Great question. So student jobs at nnmc.edu is the email. I'm that email, Sarah McCormick. But if they have any questions, if they want to RSVP for these workshops, they can do so at studentjobs@nnmc.edu. If there is a question specifically about a job for a hiring manager, they can email me, and then I essentially forward it on to Toby, who then will get it to the right person.
And just one more time for our listeners, can you name those dates, times, locations of those workshops one more time?
Absolutely. So cover letter and resume writing workshops will take place in the Northern New Mexico College boardroom that's next to the Eagle Cafe on Wednesday, February 5th, 1 to 3 p.m., and Thursday, February 6th, 2 to 4 p.m., and another workshop at 5 to 7 p.m. We like to offer different times to accommodate for students' class schedules, work schedules, and such.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining me, Sarah McCormick, with information about internship opportunities at LANL. Hopefully, we'll have you back on the show again soon with, more information from the Costa Rica trip or, one of your other many projects at Northern.
That would be a pleasure. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you to all the listeners out there.
And you can also find more information on our Facebook page and on our website under news about the LANL internships, the workshops, and what the qualification criteria is for those. Well, here on Live at Northern, we like to take the time to profile our many academic programs and departments and help you get to know our faculty and students. Joining me this morning is Chair of Northern's Department of Language and Letters and popular professor Lori Franklin. Good morning.
Good morning, Stephanie. I'm very delighted to join you today.
Yeah, thank you for joining me on the air today. Can you tell us a little about yourself, your background, and what you do at Northern?
I'd be happy to. So I am the chair of Language and Letters. I have a background in composition and communications, and I have been at Northern for 16 years. And I feel very blessed to have a job that I care about so deeply. I really care deeply about the mission of the college and the role that it plays in the community. And I love working with my students, our students. Over the years, I've met so many wonderful students, and I feel lucky that the classes that I teach, I really get to know them, because those classes are all about finding your voice and expressing yourself and learning to communicate. And that can be a very empowering experience for anyone, and especially for our students. I know that many of them are making a change in their life, and I love being part of that and watching them grow and acquire these skills that are going to aid them in wherever they decide to go in life.
Well, one thing that I think is really cool about your department, and, you know, surely in your position you've seen this, is that everybody who comes to Northern kind of has to walk through your doors, you know, has to take an English class or a composition class. So over the years, I imagine you must have, you know, met and mentored and taught hundreds of students
yes,
over the years.
I love that aspect of the job. I think sometimes when I go to graduation, I see so many people up on the stage. Oh, I had that student, 3 years ago in a basic English class, and here they are graduating in biology. And it is very, very exciting to watch, to be able to interact with so many different, diverse groups on campus of students, but also to be able to watch them grow. Yes, definitely.
And I know you have an opportunity to announce to our local high school and college students, but before we get to that, can you tell our listeners what Language and Letters is all about?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So first of all, one of the main missions of our department is to empower students. And we believe that we are empowering them by teaching them these essential skills that they need to be successful in college, to excel in their careers, and to be engaged and informed citizens in their communities. So we have English classes, of course, composition classes, we have public speaking classes, we have literature classes, creative writing classes, we have a AA liberal arts program. And in all of these classes, we're really emphasizing helping students, to learn to learn to communicate in ways that are effective, clear, and powerful. We want them to have the confidence to be able to critically read and engage with text, to appreciate literature, to express themselves in creative ways, and to really enjoy that communication and realize that they have a voice, they have a story to tell. I always walk into all my classes and I say, I know every single one of you has your own unique perspective, your own unique life to share. That's what you bring to the table when you're a writer or when you're a speaker. That's your power. And I'm going to help you find the skills to be able to do that in ways that are clear to your audience and meet the goals that you want to meet. So it's very exciting. I'm very passionate about it.
I can tell. And yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I just, I'm a little curious to just kind of hear from you, but I know that, coming out of high school, students maybe, feel a little bit discouraged about, having to take English, having to take composition, whatever, they're used to from high school, writing, essays or, just reading, and I think you all make it interesting. You all make it exciting. Some of these class topics are, really interesting, and it's, focusing on what's relevant to the students themselves, the community. So kind of what has that been like for you to just kind of see the students kind of have that light bulb come on?
That is so rewarding. I think you're right that students come in sometimes with a lot of anxiety related to writing, to reading, to public speaking. And I like to let them know that these skills, there are processes involved. There are things that they can learn. There are ways that they can approach it and practice it and break it down so that it becomes manageable, so that it becomes something that they can do. And that is so exciting to watch and to be a part of. I know it can be frustrating. I know when I teach public speaking, the first question I ask my students is, how many of you are nervous about getting in front of this class? And almost always it's 80% of the students raise their hand.
And the ones who aren't raising it are just, too anxious to even raise their hands. So.
Could be, yes. So that's where they're coming in, but they certainly walk out, those who are ready and are able to stay with the program, they walk out of it with a much different ability to take on those tasks. And these are tasks that are essential. Another question I ask my students, how many times have you wanted to say something but didn't, either in writing or in orally? And a lot of students in the very beginning will raise their hand, and I think that's a shame, because it's very frustrating to want to say something and feel like you can't, or like you don't have anything to say, or you don't have a way to say it. So that's exciting to be part of that process.
Well, it's definitely, very important to empower students to have a voice, and I think that's definitely what you all are doing. You mentioned the associate's degree in liberal arts. So can you tell us a little bit more about that, and what are some of the jobs or careers graduates can have with this degree?
So the Associate in Liberal Arts has a core of courses, and they are all geared towards expression and literature and writing. So we have an Introduction to Literature course that's part of that core. We have a creative writing course that's part of that core. We have a new course called Foundations in Liberal Arts, which is a good for addressing the question you were asking about careers and opportunities. Over the years, our graduates have gone into very diverse fields. I think that's one of the beauties of our program, is that it's teaching these skills that really can apply to many, many different walks in life. With a strong foundation on critical reading, writing skills, oral communication, and creative expression, empowers someone to go in many, many different directions. Some of our students end up pursuing the Bachelor of Integrated Studies degree after graduating from our program. Some students end up in transferring to other programs and pursuing maybe degrees in communications, writing, literature. I think that our degree is preparing students for the workplace in a very profound way. Employers are really looking for students who have strong communication skills, who can think critically, who can problem solve, who can come up with creative solutions. And the work that we're doing in our courses is emphasizing those skills and helping students to develop them.
So what other faculty work in the department, and what's their specialty?
So we have Dr. Heather Winter, and she has a strong background in creative writing. She's a very accomplished poet herself, and one of the things she does for our department, which is beautiful, is that she supervises the Trickster Club, and also helps the students with all the processes involved in that. Trickster is our literary journal, and so Heather is helping the students learn about everything that's involved in that process of creating the journal and reading the submissions and selecting them and publishing them. And we are right now in the process of accepting submissions to Trickster, and soon we will be publishing another edition of that literary journal. This time, the theme of that is borders, which I know we're going to talk about when we get to the essay
Yeah, and we had some of
contest.
those students on a few weeks ago
Yes,
as well to share, and we'll share the details later on about the submissions for this and your other opportunity.
And so Heather it teaches introduction to literature. She teaches composition too. She teaches creative writing. This semester, she's teaching a literature of healing course, which is, I think, a wonderful opportunity to really look at the power of healing and see how it's reflected in the literature and become engaged in that discussion. We also have Pamela Lepchevich, and Pamela, I call her Pam. Pam, her specialty is developmental writing. She has been teaching the very entry-level course in our department. It's called English 108. And this is a really key course for many, many students. These are very foundational skills that they are going to need throughout their success at Northern. And she is a very passionate instructor. She cares deeply about her students, about helping them to find that voice and to learn how to express themselves through writing, how to be engaged in what they're reading. And she's wonderful. I love working with her because I know how much she cares about our students. And she also, like me, is very excited when she sees somebody who came in her entry-level class and they're now in maybe her dialogue class, because she teaches dialogue classes through the BAIS, the Bachelor of Integrated Studies, and to watch them now taking on difficult texts and being able to participate in the discussion in class and extract interesting ideas from those texts and build on them and synthesize them. It's just she's very passionate, like I am, about what we are helping our students to, the path that we're helping them. And
then I know you also have J.B. Moore, who works with the Writing Center, and the Writing Center is a really key resource that you all provide for students.
J.B. is the director of the Writing Center, and she has been in that position for quite some time. She is an amazing tutor herself. I have seen her really just so engaged with students and so invested in helping them to become strong and independent writers. The Writing Center is not a proofreading center. It is a center to help students develop the skills that they need to be independent writers. So she and I have embraced that philosophy for many years now, and we see it as so important because we don't want to just fix their errors. We want to be able to teach them how to look at their writing and think about what areas need revision. How can they go about that revision? What are the rules? How can they learn the rules? How can they find their own errors? So the Writing Center is open to all students, not, of course, just students who are taking an English class. And we do have many students from all departments coming to the Writing Center. And I know that it's a valuable resource for students. I always tell my students, when I write something, I have my colleagues look at it. I receive feedback, and I take that feedback, and I work on multiple drafts. So it's something that at any level someone can benefit from.
And so in case we have any students listening or, parents, grandparents of students, where is the Writing Center? And can you, do you know the hours off the top of your head?
I don't know if I know the hours at the top of my head. I think I can give you the brief.
Okay, sure.
I know it opens at 10. It's open Monday through Thursday, 10 to 4, and then I think it's Tuesday evening. It is located downstairs of the AD building, AD 129. The phone number is 747-2294, and J.B. Moore is the director. Students are welcome to drop by. They can also call and make an appointment. So they're very, very welcome to to contact me as well, or JB, if they need more information.
And just because we just have a little bit of time left, but I definitely want to get to this exciting opportunity you've created, this essay contest. Can you tell us about that?
So we have been thinking about a way, all of the goals that I talked about earlier with empowering students, it's something that we do in every single one of our classes, but we wanted to have a project and a program that allowed us to tap into to multiple levels of that. And so we came up with this essay contest, and we thought that the theme of borders was a very provocative theme. It's provocative to me because it's very diverse, that there are so many borders throughout our lives that we come up against, that we cross, that we face, sometimes that we cross and then we come back on the other side. And I think that these borders really impact us in very profound ways. When we were thinking about it, we came up with different types of borders, like young and old, illness and health, powerful and powerless, knowledge and ignorance, love and hate, addiction and sobriety, inside and outside, and stages of our life, perhaps, national borders, borders between cities. And so we just felt like this is a theme that can allow students to find a way to connect their own experiences, their own interests with this larger topic. And so we do have the contest. Can I tell a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. So tell us what the prizes are, who's eligible to enter, and what some of the specifics are.
So it is open to all Northern New Mexico College students. It's also open to area high school students. We have a grand prize, which all students are eligible for, and that would include publication in Trickster, which is, I think, an exciting opportunity. It's wonderful to see yourself published in this beautiful journal. We also have a $100 gift certificate from Collected Works Bookstore for the grand prize winner. Then, just because we wanted to really emphasize first-year students and high school students and have a special prize just for those pool of students, that we have two additional categories. One is a first-year student prize, which is a $50 gift certificate to Collected Works Bookstore. And then a high school prize. It could be a dual credit student, or it could be a student who is not a dual credit student at Northern, but just a high school student. So we've reached out to a few of our contacts in the high schools, and we are definitely open to that. That is also a $50 gift certificate. The submissions are due on February 28th, and they can be emailed to me. We are having a 5-page maximum. The format is very open as long as the essay is really focusing on a border and exploring that topic of borders and the theme of borders.
And what is your email address?
My email address is Lori G, so it's LORIG @nnmc.edu.
Well, thank you for joining me, Lori Franklin, Chair of the Department of Language and Letters. You can find full information about the essay contest on our Facebook page and on our website under News. If you know or are a local high school or college student, please enter. Well, we are running a little bit short on time. We did have a prize to give away. We're going to go ahead and move that to Facebook. This is a limited edition NNMC Cruisin' style t-shirt featuring artwork designed by acclaimed Chimayo artist and lowrider enthusiast Arthur Lolo Medina y Familia, size adult medium. The shirt is black and features a large N filled with images from the Valley's rich culture. We're going to put this on Facebook, so just comment on the Facebook post right here for Live at Northern on our Facebook page, and just give us the name of the team the Eagles are playing next. That's the trivia question. And if you're the first one to answer that, then you are the winner. Just some quick news and event announcements. The next home games for the Eagles will take place Friday, February 7th and Saturday, February 8th against Park. Oh, I can't say the answer. Okay, freebie, Park University Gilbert. Friday games are at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. Saturday games are at 1 and 3 p.m. Tickets are $6 for adults, $3 for kids and seniors. Go Eagles. And Northern Student Life will host a welcome back barbecue for all NNMC students, faculty, and staff this afternoon at the Eagle Gym from 2 to 6 p.m. Sure to be a lot of fun to bring in the new semester. The Vietnam War Veterans 50th Year Commemoration Ceremony will take place this Friday, January 31st at the Northern New Mexico College Montoya Administration Building. Doors open at 5 p.m. This event is open to all veterans, their families, and the public. Veterans should email eric.chavez@mail.house.gov or call 505-984-8950, extension 104 to RSVP. And if you're interested in working at Los Alamos National Labs this summer, we will be hosting cover letter and resume writing workshops on Wednesday, February 5th from 1 to 3 p.m. and Thursday, February 6th from 2 to 4 and again 5 to 7 p.m. in the NNMC boardroom in the main building. The entry-level paid internships are available to all Northern students with a 3.0 GPA who clear a background check and are a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. Facebook Career Connections is seeking college students and local businesses in Northern New Mexico to participate in summer fellowships in digital marketing, social media management, and communication. The application deadline is February 14th. For more information, visit careerconnections.fb.com or check our Facebook page. And in case you missed it, Northern is hosting an essay contest for local high school and college students on the theme of borders. Prizes include publication in Trickster Literary Journal and gift certificates to Collected Works Bookstore and Coffee House. Submissions should be no more than 5 pages and emailed to lorig@nnmc.edu by February 28th. Northern's literary journal Trickster is also still accepting submissions for its upcoming issue on the theme of borders. Prose submissions should not exceed 5,000 words, and poetry submissions should be limited to 3 to 5 poems. Multiple submissions should be attached as one document, and documents should be submitted as either .doc or .rtf files. Simultaneous submissions are accepted, but please inform the committee if work is accepted elsewhere. The editors read all submissions anonymously, but contributors will be recognized if selected and receive a free copy of the journal. Contributors should also include a 50-word bio. Please send submissions to trickster@nnmc.edu prior to February 14th. That's our show for today, but we'll be back on Wednesday, February 12th with more from your Northern New Mexico College. In the meantime, you can find more news and events from us on Facebook at facebook.com/Northern New Mexico College. Follow us on Instagram and on Twitter or Snapchat at Northern NNMC. Also visit our website at nnmc.edu or call 747-2111. Thanks for listening, and we wish you all a happy and safe couple of weeks. Gracias.